Hello, hello. Welcome to a Subnautica tournament, all creatures. This is on the bracketfights.com. This is the tier maker website. Really cool here. So this is all randomly generated and randomly seeded. So I have not set these up. This is all random. And let's get into presentation mode and do this. I mean, matchup mode. Let's go. Starting us off. Okay. Bloodcrawler and Floater. This is an easy one. Bloodcrawler wins this one. Good start. Alright. Crab Snake, Boomerang. Boomerang's just too common, it doesn't stand a chance. The Crab Snake, its biome, so cool. Everything about it. Great. Rock Grub and Biter. Now, the Biter is cool, right? But the Rock Grub, I think definitely takes this one. Just because when you find it, when I find it anyway, I feel like I always have to approach it and go and investigate a little bit. Because they're so rare and they're just, I don't know, yeah, that's the reason for me why. Because I just always have to investigate them. So interesting. Amoeba and Crimson Ray. Now I do actually love rays. I love the ray design. And this is just a jelly. So we're gonna go with the ray. Easy. Bleeder and Sea Emperor. Now, this is the obvious choice. Okay, it's a Sea Emperor. Bleeders are cool, but they're really annoying actually. But I like the interaction, how you whack them off your arm. It's cool. Cuttlefish, Rabbit Ray. Rabbit Ray looks nice, but you can only find them in the safe shallows. It's a bit too common. Cuttlefish, obviously, the GOAT, you know. Very sought after. Only 5 in the game. And you have to actually find them and hatch the eggs. Very cool little Easter egg to do. Cuttlefish. Alright, on we go. Oh, Ampheel Bone Shark. This is a good one. Both from similar areas in the game, right? But I'm actually going to take the Ampheel in this one. This is because I remember my first ever playthrough of Subnautica. I went into the bulb zone. And I was so interested in the colors and all these Ampheels were so fascinating to me. I loved this biome in my first playthrough. So I'm going with the Ampheel. Alright, Stalker and Skyray. I'm gonna go Stalker. These guys are just so much cooler. Very well known. And, you know, they find your scrap for you. They've got Stalker teeth. These guys just do nothing. They fly. They sit on your thing and fly away. It's obvious. Alright. Cave Crawler and Hoopfish. I think, again, Hoopfish is just a bit too common. Very cool looking little fodder fish, but the Cave Crawlers are just better, I think. Just better design and more interesting. Lava Lizard and Crab Snake. No, Crab Squid. Apologies. Now, the Crab Squid to me is one of my favorite in the whole game. The sound design of this thing is amazing. That alone puts it above the Lava Lizard. That alone. Reefback Eye. Again, you could just give it to the Reefback for sound design. There's no way an Eye would beat the Reefback though. If you pick the Eye, there's definitely something wrong with you. Okay. River Prowler and Sand Shark. This is actually a really, really hard one. So I think I like the River Prowler more, right? Just for the reason that you find it deeper and it feels more of a reward to find them. I feel like you're discovering more, whereas these guys are just, you know, they're very close to the start of the game and they just, you know, once you see your first one, they jump out. You're like, oh, yeah, not so big of a deal. These guys actually have a cool design though, you know. Like half transparent body with a skin head or a bone head. Looks really cool. I'm going with the River Prowler. Alright, that brings us on to now round 2. Where we get to pick the next bracket. Bloodcrawler, Crab Snake. I think, yeah, the Crab Snake takes this one. It's just a lot better in terms of its interactions. And I really like the biome it comes from as well. You know, it pops out the mushrooms, grabs you. These guys aren't that interesting. Crab Snake wins for sure. Okay. Alright. This basically just comes down to personal preference. But Honestly, no, actually. I think the rock grub does win this fairly. It's much more rare. Not many people know about it, you know? A lot of people will still see this thing and be like, whoa, I didn't even know it was in the game. I think for that, we pick it. Okay. Ooh, this is a good one. Cuttlefish Sea Emperor. So, I think the Sea Emperor has to win this one. The Cuttlefish is super iconic, you know, part of the trophies. Again, you know, that egg collection. It's great. I mean, but also, she also has a egg collection in some sense, you know, where you have to go and, spoiler alert, find the materials to hatch her babies. It's really cool. I think the Sea Emperor, the sheer size as well. Yeah, no, the Sea Emperor is going to win it. Okay, Ampiel Stalker. So, the Stalkers, yep, they have good interactions, everything. But I think the Ampiel, I'm going to go with the Ampiel just because it's just, I think it's so much cooler. Just the electricity going around it, how you find it in the deep, dark waters. It looks so good, the contrast of it looks really good. Really cool creature, I'm going with it. Okay. Little crab, big crab. Well, you gotta go with the big crab, right? There's no way that this would ever beat this in a million years. In terms of, you know, a bracket fight. Reefback, River Prowler. Yeah, I think this one's a no-brainer. It's got to be the Reefback. You know, they're classic. You know, cruising around the start of the game, hear their roars. You know, it's so nice and calming. They don't do nothing to you. They just look cool. They just sit there and look cool. I'm going with the Reefback. All right, round three. Rock grub and crab snake. Now, I think the crab snake just has what it takes to now beat the rock grub. I think the rock grub's uniqueness doesn't beat the pure, how cool this thing is, you know. I'm gonna say it again. The biome, you know, the purple mushrooms. You can't really beat it, mate. It's super good. Ampiel Sea Emperor. I think the Sea Emperor does definitely take this one. At the end of the day, this is just a medium-sized monster, you know. There's lots of them. There's only one of these in the game, and she's an integral part of the story. Everything goes towards her. We're picking her. Reefback Crab Squid. Now, I think now I'm going to get a few knickers twisted, alright? Because a lot of people love the Reefback. A lot of people love it. But I just think the crab squid just sounds so much cooler and is much more creepy, and you find it in much more interesting places. And for that, we're going with the crab squid, sorry. Now we've got the crab snake versus the Sea Emperor. This is actually a hard one, you know. I think the Sea Emperor is going to end up winning just because, you know, she's such an important part of the game. These guys do have a much better design though, and they're much cooler. I think we have overall, considering everything, the Sea Emperor, the sheer size and the design of it. I love these arms as well. I think we're going Sea Emperor. Alright, Sea Emperor Crab Snake. This one is also quite rough, actually. I think the crab snake has a chance here, though. Personally, I like the crab snake a lot more. I feel like because the Sea Emperor is actually such an iconic creature, I think that actually gives the crab snake the uniqueness to be able to win. And I do think it's a cooler creature. The EMP, everything. Yeah, I do think. I think I'm gonna pick the crab snake. You know. Or, yeah. Yep, crab snake it is. Okay. Alright, we've moved on to the right side of the bracket now. Starting off round 1, right side. Jelly Ray, Sea Dragon. Yeah, I think the Jelly Ray is just a stinky version of the Ghost Ray. So, we'll go Sea Dragon, because Sea Dragon's better anyway. It doesn't matter what this compares to. Shuttlebug Holefish. Okay. So, I think the Holefish is cool, but I think it's only cool because the Titan Holefish exists, and this is a Subnautica 1 tournament. So the Titan Holefish is not a thing yet. So I'm going to go with the Shuttlebug for that reason. Okay, next. Peeper Spadefish. You know, I think the tournament did such a good job with seeding the bracket. This is all completely random. I did not set this up. And these two are very similar. A lot of them have been good matchups. So I think the design of the Spadefish is better itself. Like, much better. The coloring and stuff. But the Peeper, if you were to show someone a photo of the Peeper, I feel like they would know what you're talking about. So I'm going to go with the Peeper, just for iconism. Magma Ray and Ghost Ray. No, Magma Rang, sorry. I mean, this one's pretty obvious to me. This is just a reskin of the Boomerang. Nothing special. This here, though, the Ray, you can see, like, its skeleton, and you can see, like, its lungs. Oh, fuck. I mean, no, not lungs, mate. It's a bloody underwater creature. It doesn't have lungs. Kidneys. Whatever. The Kidney Ray. Definitely the Kidney Ray wins this. Garyfish, Gasopod. Now, I know a lot of people love the Garyfish. You know, gotta love the SpongeBob memes. But, the Gasopod, bro, it literally laughs at you and farts on you. Like, it's so stupid. It has to win. It has to. Oh, damn. This is a hard one. Okay. So, me personally, I like the Sea Treader more. Okay? I think it's just more unique and has better design. But I know the Reaper has to win this because the Reaper is such a classic creature. It's the keystone of Subnautica, you know? The game would not be the same without it, but the game would be the same without the Sea Stompers. So we're going with the Reaper. What's next? Bladderfish, Red Eye. I think it's pretty straightforward, this one. The Eye doesn't really provide much. It's just a reskin of the regular Eye. But this here, you're constantly chasing bladderfish your entire playthrough. You can find them at any depth. Well, I don't know about the lava zone, but I know you can find them in the Lost River. They provide water as well, so it's a no-brainer. These win. Spinefish, Ghost Leviathan. It's obviously the Ghost Leviathan. You know, the Spinefish just doesn't have a chance. It's just a bad matchup. Sorry, broski. Bad Q. Reginald Warper, again. You know, bro's queuing up against Grand Champs. It's over. Alright. Okay. This fucking thing. If you want to pick the Lava Lizard over the Oculus, I think this is what needs to happen. I think you need to be strung upside down to a tree, right? Honey lathered everywhere. Now, I'm talking everywhere. Every crack, right? Every orifice. And then they release a big grizzly bear, okay? Now, you see it's chained up, right? The chain's not long enough to get to you. So that gives you a sense of false hope, right? But then you see another giant box being opened. This one's filled with bees, and they aren't chained up. That's what should happen to you if you pick the Lava Lizard over the Oculus, okay? Moving on. Crashfish, Blighter. I'll bet a lot of you guys don't even know that the Blighter exists. This is a reskin of the regular Biter, but it can only be found in the Blood Kelp zone. Or the Blood Kelp trenches. This is a fun fact for you. I think, but Crashfish though, it's much more classic, you know. A lot of people who've played this game know, and like, they hate the Crashfish so much that's why I think it wins this, because it's so well known that it's so well hated. So this one's just too unknown to even win. Mesmer, Hoverfish. Okay, guys, hear me out on this one as well. So, I know a lot of people love the hoverfish, you know, they think it's cute, they take them as pets, yada yada. I think the Mesmer is a way better creature. I think how it, when you find one, you know, you're like, oh, whoa, cool, like a Mesmer, you know, you don't see those all the time. And they even have an interaction, they like mesmerize you and you hallucinate and stuff. I think it's so cool. I love it. I'm gonna pick it over the hoverfish. Sorry, guys. Okay, now we're into round 2 of the right side bracket. Sea Dragon versus Shuttlebug. Definitely the Sea Dragon. Shuttlebug is, honestly, you can't even interact with it. It does nothing. All it does is swim around, you know? Sea Dragon has to win. Peeper and Ghost Ray. Again, even though the Peeper is so iconic, I think the Ghost Ray is such a cool creature. So well designed, and it looks so cool. I think a lot of people will agree with me on this one. Ghost Ray. The fucking farting menace or the Reaper? Yeah, I'm picking that. Nah. Reaper. Reaper has to win this, right? Because I think the Gasopod's great, but it's the Reaper. Like we're talking about the Reaper here, okay? Bladderfish and Ghost Leviathan. Now again, it's funny. It's giving both have got, you know, the nice like blue purple transparent skin. I just don't think that this thing providing water gives it the edge to beat this. This is just, it's too cool. And also these come in the void as well, so they're super iconic because everyone knows about the adult ghosts from the void. So we have to go with the ghost. Warper Oculus. This one's all, this is a no-brainer. It's the Warper, right? Oculus is super cool, don't get me wrong, but Warper is it's literally a biomechanical creature. It's got so much lore behind it. You know, you can find them in so many places. It's awesome. Warper wins. Easy. Crashfish, Mesmer. Now, it's actually funny. Again, the bracket's done well. These two are very similar in terms of they're small fish who, when you go to their territory, they will attack you. And they will, like, deal serious damage, you know, if you're not prepared for it. And with that being equal, now it comes down to which design I think is better and which interaction is better. And I easily think the design of the Mesmer and the sort of hallucinations are much cooler. And it talks to you, you know, like, oh, come closer. Really awesome. Love it. Okay. The kidney fish and the sea dragon. You know, I love this, and I would love to bring it forward more, but you can't bring up the Ghost Ray against the sea dragon. You just can't. The sea dragon it's too just big, and it's too, like, it's a fire-breathing dragon, mate. It's not winning. I'm sorry. Reaper and Ghost. Oh my goodness. This is a rough one, guys. Okay. I'll bet right now a lot of people would just be straight clicking the Reaper, right? People love the Reaper. But I think that the Ghost, hear me out on this one. So I love the design of hammerhead sharks in real life, right? It's so unique, so different, so interesting. The Ghost has that as well as transparent skin. You can see into its body, see its skeleton and stuff. It's really well designed creature. The Reaper is super iconic, but I think it's too iconic. It's become overused, you know? I'm gonna go with the Ghost, purely because of the design. I just really like the design. Mesmer, Warper. So, again, it's very similar to Crashfish Warper, where they both will attack if you get near their territory, but the Warper just does it better. And also the lore, everything with the Warper, how they're created by the architects, it's the Warper. It's the Warper. Ghost Leviathan and Sea Dragon. Now, if I was to put the Sea Dragon up against the Reaper, I think I would pick the Reaper, because the Sea Dragon is cool, right? It's bigger, and I don't know if it's cooler looking. I think the Reaper looks better, but the Sea Dragon just does look a little bit goofy. if they just had the design a little bit different, I think this list would be much different. But the Ghost beats the Sea Dragon for that reason. Ghost and Warper. Very interesting, you know, two creatures found quite closely, you know, they're guarding similar areas. But I think if you see a Warper, you know, you sort of think, oh fuck, okay, let's get away. You think the same thing about the Ghost, but the emergency is much more present with the Ghost. I think the Ghost just has much more presence, and it's way bigger, and for that reason, Ghost. And now, guys, alright, we made it. We're in the final bracket of the Subnautica tournament. We have the Crab Squid versus the Ghost Leviathan. Yeah, let's run through this here. So, in terms of design, like visual design, I think they're both very similar in terms of the transparent body. This has a better coloring, but I think the details are better on the Crab Squid. Also, with audio, I would probably give the Ghost Leviathan like a 3 out of 10 for audio design, and this gets an easy 10 out of 10 audio design. The noises this thing makes is insane. It's so cool. Also, it interacts. It actually has an EMP, which can, shut down your vehicles and stuff. It actually, rather than just ramming you, brainlessly. I do honestly think that the crab squid takes the cake on this one, boys. I'm doing it. We're in. Locked in. Done. Here is the final bracket. I'll see if I can zoom this in a bit more for you guys. But damn, the Warper got really far. I'm not really surprised though. It didn't really have too good competition. The Reaper didn't get that far. I expected Reaper to get further. Free my homie Rock Grub. I wish he'd done better. Oh well, and there you have it, guys. This is the Subnautica tournament. And this is the final standing. The winner being Crab Squid. Alright. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out. Have a good one. Subscribe. Later.